Welcome to selections from the Dhammapada, chapters 19 to 23, part 2 of 2 on words of wisdom. Buddha, vegan, or Gautama Buddha, also known as Shakyamuni Buddha, was a great extraordinary spiritual master from ancient India. Born as Prince Siddhartha Gautama in the 5th century BC, he would have naturally inherited the vast wealth of a kingdom. However, the prince left the palace life in search of spiritual knowledge. After years of contemplative seeking, the Buddha attained great enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. He then shared the merits of his practice by providing a method for other sentient beings to be freed from the cycle of death and rebirth. The rich treasury of Buddha's spiritual doctrine on universal truths is studied and revered to this day for its deep wisdom and compassion. Dhammapada means words of doctrine or a way of truth in Pali. It is also known as Fa-ju-jing in Chinese, 2bu-법구경 in Korean, or Kim-fa-gu in Aulacese, also known as Vietnamese. Dhammapada is an anthology of verses spoken by the Buddha, vegan, on various occasions in response to a certain unique situation. It is one of the most popular and widely read Buddhist scriptures enjoyed by both Buddhists and non-Buddhists. Its original version is in the Khuddaka Nikaya, a Pali canon division of Theravada Buddhism. In total, there are 423 verses in the 26 chapters of the Dhammapada that convey the philosophical and practical foundations of the Buddhist tradition. The verses are mainly presented in pairs, like, for example, grief and suffering against joy, developing the mind instead of ignoring the mental attitude and conduct, virtuousness versus misconduct, and being truthful, not deceitful. The whole purpose is to illustrate the desirable and non-desirable outcomes due to our actions, speech, and thoughts. The objective of the text is to guide one in leading a spiritual life by firstly attaining happiness in this life or in the future lives, and subsequently achieving spiritual liberation, freedom, and absolute peace. Today, we are ecstatic to share with you selections from the Dhammapada, chapters 21 to 23. Chapter 21, Miscellaneous. The disciples of Gautama Buddha are always well awake, and their thoughts, day and night, are always set on the Buddha. The disciples of Gautama Buddha are always well awake, and their thoughts, day and night, are always set on the Dharma. The disciples of Gautama Buddha are always well awake, and their thoughts, day and night, are always set on the Sangha. The disciples of Gautama Buddha are always well awake, and their minds, day and night, always delight in compassion. The disciples of Gautama Buddha are always well awake, and their minds, day and night, always delight in meditation. Whatever place a faithful, virtuous, and celebrated person chooses, there they are respected. Good people shine from afar, like the snowy mountains. Bad people are not seen, like arrows shot by night. They alone, who without ceasing practice the duty of sitting alone and sleeping alone, they, subduing themselves, will rejoice in the destruction of all desires alone, as if living in a forest. Chapter 22, The Descending Course. They who say what is not go to hell. They also who, having done a thing, say, I have not done it. After death, both are equal. They are people with evil deeds in the next world. Many hypocritical people whose shoulders are covered with the yellow gown are ill-conditioned and unrestrained. Such evildoers by their evil deeds go to hell. Better it would be to swallow a heated iron ball like flaring fire than that of a bad unrestrained fellow should live on alms. 4 things does a reckless person gain who covets their neighbor's spouse: a bad reputation, an uncomfortable bed, thirdly, punishment, and lastly, hell. As a grass blade, if badly grasped, cuts the arm, badly practiced asceticism leads to hell. An act carelessly performed, a broken vow, and hesitating obedience to discipline, all this brings no great reward. If anything is to be done, let a person do it. Let them attack it vigorously. A careless pilgrim only scatters the dust of their passions more widely. An evil deed is better left undone, for a person repents of it afterwards. A good deed is better done, for having done it, one does not repent. Like a well-guarded frontier fort, with defenses within and without, so let a person guard themselves, not a moment should escape. For they who allow the right moment to pass suffer pain when they are in hell. They who are ashamed of what they ought not to be ashamed of, and are not ashamed of what they ought to be ashamed of, such people, embracing false doctrines, enter the evil path. They who fear when they ought not to fear, and fear not when they ought to fear, such people, embracing false doctrines, enter the evil path. They who forbid when there is nothing to be forbidden, and forbid not when there is something to be forbidden, such people, embracing false doctrines, enter the evil path. They who know what is forbidden as forbidden, and what is not forbidden as not forbidden, such people, embracing the true doctrine, enter the good path. Chapter 23: The Elephant, Endurance and Self-Restraint. The mind went formally wandering about as it liked, as it listed, as it pleased, but one shall now hold it in thoroughly. Be not thoughtless, watch your thoughts, draw yourself out of the evil way, like an elephant sunk in mud. If a person finds a prudent companion who walks with him, is wise, and lives soberly, they may walk with them, overcoming all dangers, happy but considerate. If a person finds no prudent companion who walks with them, is wise, and lives soberly, let them walk alone, like a king who has left his conquered country behind, like an elephant in the forest. It is better to live alone. There is no companionship with a fool. Let a person walk alone. Let them commit no sin, with few wishes, like an elephant in the forest. If an occasion arises, friends are pleasant. Enjoyment is pleasant. Whatever be the cause, a good work is pleasant in the hour of death. The giving up of all grief is pleasant. Pleasant in the world is the state of a mother, pleasant the state of a father, pleasant the state of a samana, pleasant the state of a brahmana. Pleasant is virtue lasting to old age. Pleasant is a faith firmly rooted. Pleasant is attainment of intelligence. Pleasant is avoiding of sins. For more information, please visit sacred-texts.com.